Survivor 46 is here, and so is On Fire, the only official Survivor podcast, and we have a twist this season. The winner of Survivor 45, Dee Valladares, will be joining us every week.
We're going behind the scenes of the biggest moments, the how and the why things happen, and the strategy and analysis you can only get from someone like me, a Survivor winner.
Listen to On Fire, the official Survivor podcast, wherever you get your podcasts.
With threats to our nation waiting around every corner, adaptability is more important than ever. When conditions change without notice, quick strategic thinking is crucial. And with obstacles consistently impending, determination is essential in overcoming them. It's this willingness, decisiveness, and resilience that sets Marines apart. With our fighting spirit, we don't just fight battles, we win them. Marines are the constant our nation counts on to fight the unknown. And through adaptable problem solving, we do just that. Learn more at marines.com.
It's only a kick, a jump, a block. It's only a serve. It's only a tackle, a run. It's only for the fans. After all, it's only pressure. You got this. Adidas.
She punches the air and she crosses that blue finish line. The world champion of 12 months ago, who finished second here last time around, has won it.
The athlete's village is not a place for fighting. I've never heard that ever in Olympic and Paralympic history.
This is Anything But Footy, the Olympic and Paralympic podcast covering the games all the time rather than once every 4 years. I'm Michael.
And I'm John, and coming up in this special bonus edition, Michael, can you have like a special Olympic edition when it's an Olympic podcast? Anyway, I'm not sure. Coming up, what happened at the Paris 2024 headquarters early on Tuesday morning, 400 days from the Olympics.
And I catch up with the chef. Team GB's chef de mission in Poland to talk all things Paris qualification at the European Games.
As ever, you can let us know what you think and get in touch anytime. Anything But F on Twitter, Anything But Footy on Insta and Facebook, and check out our latest blogs on all things sport, audio and radio. It's anythingbutfooty.com, and it is a big week to come.
And it's all started in the early hours of the morning in Paris. A big day in Paris, host city of the next Summer Games. Police are raiding the headquarters of the organisers of the 2024 Olympic and Paralympic Games in Saint-Denis. So what do we know, John?
Well, I was on a different Paris 2024 briefing this morning, Michael. A special one for English-speaking reporters ahead of the 400 days coming up later this week. And when it came to questions, the first question was in French. Now, I'm not a linguist, but I could tell that it was a serious question. And the reply from Paris 2024 came in English with the quote, "So everybody on this call knows." And they confirmed the organising committee headquarters, as you said, in Saint-Denis, were being searched by police. Now, I literally nearly fell off my chair. I was like, whoa, and this is a stop what you're doing moment. I can't say I listened to the rest of the questions on the media conference at that stage, and contacted you, started going on social media, contacted the press office, and they came back quite quickly and said, yep, here's the quote: "A police search is currently underway at the headquarters of the organising committee. Paris 2024 is cooperating fully with investigators to facilitate their investigations." Now, Reuters started reporting the search was ordered by the French National Financial Prosecutor's Office, and CNN then picked it up and said that 2 raids were being held for preliminary investigations into financial improprieties with contracts and public funds, and other sites raided included Solideo, the public body responsible for a lot of construction and infrastructure around the Paris 2024 Games. Now, the raid came as the International Olympic Committee Executive Board meeting were in session today and tomorrow, and an IOC spokesman said they were aware of what was going on. So then we managed to get to speak to Olympic Games Executive Director Christophe Dubi, who was speaking to the media, and he says organisers in Paris are fully cooperating.
Ongoing, no comments to be made at this stage, but again, reassurance provided by Paris that the only attitude that one has to have in such circumstances, which is full collaboration and transparency, was ensured by Paris 2024.
We also then got a statement a little later after he had spoken, Michael, from the organisers of Paris 2024, saying a little bit more than what they'd originally said. And what they really wanted to highlight was that Paris is certainly one of the most audited organisations in France. The audit conducted by the French Anti-Corruption Agency and 5 audits in addition to the continued monitoring of our governance structures have not raised the slightest wrongdoing. So, look, the IOC are dealing with the fallout of a corruption scandal involving Tokyo 2020. And as we say, the Olympics is 400 days away. Only last week we talked about everything being on time. So a slight curveball and surely further questions the integrity of Olympic sport and organisers, which over the years has been in headlines for all the wrong reasons. So I'm not sure we've heard the last of this.
We spoke too soon, didn't we, on the last podcast when we said that the likes of Paris and Los Angeles are safe bets. They're games that the IOC can be relaxed about after all the trials and tribulations of delivering Rio and then everything that we know that has gone on, not just with the delay, but as you say then, with the fallout from the Tokyo Games. So I'm sure this story isn't going to be over soon. We'll keep you right across it here on Anything But Footy. Let's turn our attention to the 3rd European Games taking place in Poland. Krakow is staging the biggest ever sporting event to be held in the country. It's opening ceremony day today. I love an opening ceremony. I'll be hoping to catch some of this one later. Here is the history of Poland through the medium of mime, something like that. 25 host venues, 50 countries, 6,500 athletes, 18 Olympic sports, and 10 of those will see athletes directly qualify from the European Games to the Olympic Games in Paris 2024.
Now, we keep calling it the Mini Olympics, but from a Team GB point of view, there is a lot at stake. Direct quota spots, as Michael said, available in archery, artistic swimming, boxing, breaking, canoe slalom, diving, modern pentathlon, shooting and table tennis. Some Olympic champions are in action from Britain and many more wannabes eyeing a place in Paris. So before the sport gets underway, Michael's been catching up with the man in charge of the 177 Team GB athletes and the support staff.
My name's Paul Ford. I am Chef de Mission for Team GB at the Krakow 2023 European Games.
3rd time that we've had a European Games. Give it the big sell then. Why should we be interested in this event?
3rd and really exciting. I mean, there's a number of reasons for that. The first of which, it's our biggest team we've taken to a European Games state of British athletes taking on the best in Europe. Looking ahead, crucially, to next summer in Paris, but to really put a benchmark down. So the Games is offering us 3 really important things, one of which is that where we're sitting continental-wise versus the opposition. The big thing we say to all the athletes when they arrive is the field of play is exactly the same, doesn't change at all. But what is different is the size and scale of the event, of what it is in terms of all the sports coming together under one banner of the European Games across all the nations taking part. The big change we've had for this version of it versus what we've had previously, whilst there has been some Olympic qualification before, but crucially for 16 of those sport disciplines, it does affect Paris qualification. So that's the vast majority of the team. 10 of them, as an example, it's an opportunity of getting direct quota places for the Games. So in terms of the importance of it for them on their journey over the next 12 months, whilst it might not be their own selections necessarily straight away, it's gaining their sport that ticket to get to Paris.
And is that the main focus? Is that the importance qualification for Paris, or do you have yourself a medal target that you want to bring back from Poland?
Yeah, we don't have a medal target per se because a few of the sports, they've got world championships to go on to. So where it's sitting in the competition program, it kind of is sport dependent on how it's working alongside other competitions they're arriving for. A good example, Taekwondo landing today. They're just back from a Grand Prix in Rome. They've had their world championships recently. So to keep on peaking out all the time, every time is really hard for them. But it's crucial ranking points for Paris, for the team. So, so that's an example where they're sitting at right there. Our focus and support, unashamedly, we're putting in from our side in terms of the actual headquarter team is for the Paris qualifications, where we can really give that best shot opportunity. It might only be one event for certain sports, of which it has a meaning for. So diving as an example, that kickstarts in a few days' time. The 10-meter individual women, we're focusing our time and energy and effort is on how it affects Paris. But also, it's not just about getting that ticket to go to Paris. It's about being Paris ready. So what's different of going to this games compared to going to a World Cup, Grand Prix, European Championships they might normally have? Very different in terms of sharing that space. It's not just a hotel. It's a village of which has got all the different nations under one roof. It really gives us that chance of actually desensitizing, dare I say, to them some of those differences they get at an Olympic Games.
You touched on it there. We know that you're a details-driven, a data-driven organisation. So is that part of the detail and the data planning for Paris to bring some of these athletes into this environment and give them that experience?
We're always trying to evolve, always trying to get stronger and better at how we support athletes. The athletes own their own performances on the field of play. That's without question. For every one of our sports, we've kind of asked the question, and what do you need? How can we best support you? How can we give you that performance edge opportunity over your rivals and competitors? So, good example is we've created inside the village the athlete space for medical services, for recovery space, stretching spaces. How we create a team feel and how we create that environment all as one, but giving them that service. We've done it outside the building partly for another reason. So when all the other competitors from the other nations come past us, there's a little bit of psychology there saying, this is what we're doing for our guys. This is what we're about. We're here to perform. We're ready for you. And so getting that marker in the sand is important for us. So yeah, we spend a lot of time. Some of the other detail, an example, we're going to put the athletes on one side of the building. Where does the sun rise, come up? Just think about light coming into the room, how it could affect sleep patterns. That's one thing we've been chatting through and working through them for. So it's all those little things outside of on the direct field of play, how we can give them that best cutting edge support.
And as chef de mission then, give us a little overview of your job. What are the strange, odd things and requests that you might have to deal with over the next couple of weeks?
Listen, firstly, it's a privilege to have the opportunity of doing it again. What you're hoping for is actually to have nothing to do. We've been out here for a week already. So when the athletes first arrive, they kind of walk in and they're like, oh, this is great. They've not seen it as we first received it. So it's a complete university dorm kind of set up here at the main village in terms of creating the look and feel, making it feel like a GB. We call it our home away from home, how that happens. There's a whole team that take care of that and put that all together. So in an ideal world, everything's going to plan. You're kind of a bit surplus to requirements, dare I say, when it's all underway and doing. But actually, every support staff member, if they've got on the plane to come out here, they've got a job to do.
And Krakow, is there a real good games feeling? Is there a big event feeling around the place?
There is. I took a bit of time the other evening just to go into the main square area, and there's a real buzz. Great branding up everywhere, as you would expect. And like in the last two previous versions of the European Games, it's been designed that way to be a real showcase of sport. Poland is a massive sporting nation. So, all the locals are really keen and excited to see what's out there and what's going on. The waiting's over now. We're just ready to get going.
Just a couple of final questions. The first time we're going to see people in the sport of breaking representing Team GB, and the first male artistic swimmer as well. So a couple of sort of big landmarks and glass ceilings smashed at this event.
Yeah, absolutely. I had the pleasure of being down with the artistic swimming team yesterday. Actually, they're an hour outside of Krakow. I went down there, did a team welcome for them. Just a room full of smiling faces. Huge shining faces. Qualification opportunity in the duet itself, but in terms of that whole team, great for them. There's a change obviously in the international federation rules there, and absolutely embracing that, and they're excited to go there. And in terms of breaking, well, that comes in the middle of the week. Now, B-boys who are going to be going into action there. Again, Parim as an example, picked up European silver just not too long ago, within the last 12 months of the event we had held in the UK. So, really excited. And that's the big benefit of this, right? It's showcasing and having new events into the game. So looking to embrace that.
And some big names, as we know, Olympic champions, the likes of Jade Jones and Charlotte Worthington. But anyone else, any other sports that you think particularly people back at home should be looking out for over the next 2 weeks as far as Team GB is concerned?
Yeah, we've had a good example. We've had a big transition in our boxing team. All 13 boxers we've got out here, 7 males, 6 females. They're all going to be new for Paris, potentially. So a big transition there. Watch out for the super heavyweight, Delicious Ullery. Spent time with him back in Commonwealth Games last summer. So one to call out for there. As an example, some new faces in the diving team for this Europeans as well. So always good to watch out there.
And Rugby Sevens is interesting because obviously there's been that change in structure that the GB program's now more centralised to give that best opportunity. And this is one of those landmarks on the way to Paris.
Yeah, absolutely. And, listen, 12 months. It's been only 12 months as a team, right? So in terms of their readiness, they're playing behind the game versus the other nations who have been playing together as one. But crucially, every match they're going forward, every competition they're going forward now, they're more established as a team, and all the work that's been done in the background there by Kieran, the team leader, and with the two captains there actually championing and shouting loudly about that. They're in a really good shape. They've just spent the last few days out at Surrey Sports Park as an example. No, the final training's gone really well.
Well, all the very best to you and the rest of your team as well. We look forward to following your progress over the next fortnight.
No, thanks for your time and thanks for championing us from afar, and we'll do our best to bring some smiling faces home.
Paul Ford talking to Michael. 11 days of action, and good luck, of course, to all Team GB athletes. I thought it was interesting, Michael, where he said a successful games for him would be a quiet games in terms of issues. I thought was a really good way of putting it. And talking of some last-minute changes to the squad, to let you know about one Williams out, another Williams in at British Taekwondo. 20-year-old Chloe, making her debut for Britain, replaces Olympic Taekwondo silver medalist Lauren, who has a hamstring injury. We wish Lauren Williams all the best in recovering. And James Farndale and Femi Solararan also come in and complete the men's GB Rugby Sevens squad. So day one is on June the 22nd. BMX freestyle, artistic swimming, diving, sport climbing, shooting, all medals to win. Rugby 7 starts on Sunday. Canoe slalom right at the end of the games. There is much more on the team and athletes and ones to watch. Just head to teamgb.com.
And just away from the European Games, big cycling event taking place in North Yorkshire, Redcar and Cleveland to be exact, across the weekend. It is the National Road Racing Championships. That's the British National Road Racing Championships. The events include on Sunday, the big one, the road race. Then you've got the trials race on the Friday. And then later on today, as we record, which is the Wednesday, you've got the time trial as well. And I've been speaking to one of those cyclists taking part in the event.
Hi, my name's Pfeiffer, riding for Team DSM, and I'm really excited to be at the National Road Champs racing the TT and the road race.
Yeah, how important are national championships, especially in this year where we've got this huge world event coming to Glasgow, and we're not too far away from an Olympic Games potentially as well?
Yeah, nationals are one of the races I really look forward to. I think winning it in Lincoln is one of the highlights of my career, and getting to wear the bands is a real honour actually. So yeah, I'm always excited to race, and yeah, again this year.
And you must be proud when you get to wear that jersey for the 12 months after becoming a national champion. What's that like?
Yeah, for me it was only 8 months because I won it in November, so I had a bit of a short period, but it was, yeah, really special. I think it definitely gave me like a confidence boost over the winter training and lining up at every race with the bands, and yeah, it was just a nice boost, and yeah, a real honour to wear them.
Take us back then the last couple of years. Obviously you've had some success at national level as well. What's been your reflections on that?
Yeah, I remember when I was a junior, I raced Tour de Yorkshire for the first time. That was kind of my first introduction to the World Tour racing, and that was, yeah, one of my favourite races. I've done the Women's Tour a few times, always really hard racing and nice. Like, I've had a few local stages, so it's always special. Like, all my teammates love racing in the UK. All the crowds are amazing. So yeah, I really enjoy it. Yeah,
obviously we know that in this country crowds will come out. What do you know about Redcar and Cleveland and what you've got to expect then this weekend?
Yeah, my Airbnb host has told me that it's a pretty hard course, and I've seen that on Velavia as well. I think it's going to be really exciting, really tough with the kind of short, steep climbs. I'll do a recon later in the week, but I think, yeah, it'll be a really exciting road race actually.
Let's talk about the strength in depth then of British cycling at the moment. When you look down that start list, obviously, you know, you're on there. There's familiar names that people will know, like Katie Archibald, Eleanor Barker, Dame Sarah Story, a complete legend of your sport. How strong is women's British cycling at the minute?
Yeah, it's really exciting actually. I think this is the most women riders in the World Tour we've had. Yeah, it's really nice during the classics, the whole season, all World Tour events, just so many British riders being competitive, and it feels like the team's in a really good place. So I think for nationals, it's going to be, yeah, a pretty tough one.
And for you, what kind of shape, what kind of form are you in? Because we know a few years ago, of course, you probably were thinking that this might not happen for you with a very serious injury.
Yeah, now I'm in a really good place. I had, I think, my best classic season I've had, and yeah, a bit of a break after that, and then kind of building up for the second part of the season with like the focus on nationals and the tour. So I think I'm going good, and we'll have to see this week.
And obviously a lot of focus in your sport this year will be on Glasgow. Is that in your mind yet, or is it one race at a time? And if it is in your mind, how unique will that event be, bringing all of you guys together?
Yeah, it's definitely in my mind. I think it's going to be really cool, kind of the first multi-event cycling world championships. I'd love to be selected, and I think, again, the crowds there will be amazing.
Pfeiffer George speaking to me ahead of the time trial, which she'll be taking part in later. She'll also be taking part in that road race across Redcar and Cleveland, finishing in Saltburn on Sunday afternoon as well. Geraint Thomas is the big name, if you like, the big headline, the marquee act taking part in that event over the next 5 or 6 days. Looking forward to being there and following that and watching some live cycling. You know, I love to watch a road race. For much more, check out our sporting calendar. All our latest blogs are on the website as well. You can find that at anythingbutfooty.com. And as ever, you can always get in touch anytime. Find us on Twitter at anythingbutf. It's where I get my Olympic and Paralympic news. John keeps me updated there. You can find us on Instagram, on Facebook as well. Just search for Anything But Footy.
So it's Poland this summer. Not Paris just yet. The European Games. Not quite the Olympic Games. But it's going to be a good one for Team GB.
Sports Social Podcast Network.
Hello, it is Ryan, and we could all use an extra bright spot in our day, couldn't we? Just to make up for things like sitting in traffic, doing the dishes, counting your steps, you know, all the mundane stuff. That is why I'm such a big fan of Chumba Casino. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere with daily bonuses. That should brighten your day a little. Actually, a lot. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com. That's ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.